E-Weeks 2018. You alright? Yeah.
And are the rulers in each city infallible, or are they liable to error? So, when they attempt to make laws, they make some correctly, others incorrectly. And a law is correct if it prescribes what is advantageous for the rulers themselves, and incorrect if it prescribes what is disadvantageous for them. Is that what you mean? Thrasymachus responds to me, it is. And whenever the laws the rulers make must be obeyed by their subjects, is that what is just? According to your account, then, isn't it only just to do what is advantageous for the stronger, but also the opposite, what is not advantageous? Is that what you're saying? The same as you, I think. But let us examine it more closely. Haven't we agreed that the rulers are sometimes in error as to what is best for themselves when they give orders to their subjects, and yet that is just for their subjects to do whatever their rulers order? Wasn't that agreed? Thrasymachus responds to me, I suppose so. You will also have to suppose, then, that you have agreed that it is just to do what is disadvantageous for those who are stronger, whenever they unintentionally order what is bad for themselves. But you say, too, that it is just for the others to obey the orders the rulers gave. You're very wise, Thrasymachus, but it doesn't necessarily follow that it is just to do the opposite of what you said, since the weaker are ordered to do what is disadvantageous for the stronger. Polemarchus responds to me, by Zeus, Socrates, that's absolutely clear. Who needs a witness? Thrasymachus himself agrees that the rulers sometimes issue orders that are bad for them, and that it is just for the others to obey them. That, Polemarchus, is because Thrasymachus maintained that it is just to obey the orders of the rulers. It makes no difference, Polemarchus. If Thrasymachus wants to put it that way, now let's accept it. But tell me, Thrasymachus, is it what you intended to say? That what is just is what the stronger believes to be advantageous for him, whether it is in fact advantageous for him or not? Is that what we are to say that you mean? Thrasymachus responds to me, not at all. Do you think I would call someone who is in error stronger at the very moment that he errs? That is because you're a quibbler in argument, Socrates. Well, Thrasymachus, so you think I quibble, do you? Thrasymachus responds to me, yes, I do. And you think that I asked the questions in such a premeditated attempt to do you evil the argument? Thrasymachus responds to me, I am certain of it. Bless you, Thrasymachus, I would not so much as try. But to prevent this sort of confusion from happening again, would you define whether you mean ruler and stronger in the ordinary sense, or in what you were calling just now the precise sense, when you say that it is just for the weaker to do what is advantageous for him, since he is the stronger? Thrasymachus responds to me, I mean the ruler in the most precise sense. Now do that evil if you can, and practice your quibbling on it. I ask no favors. Do you think that I am crazy enough to try and save a lion and quibble with Thrasymachus? In other words, we should not take any account of the fact that he sails a ship, and he should not be called a sailor for that reason. For it's not because he is sailing that he is called a ship's captain, but because the craft he practices and his rule over sailors. And is there something that is advantageous for each of these? And isn't it also the case that the natural aim of the craft is to consider and provide what is advantageous for each? And is it anything advantageous for each of the crafts themselves besides being as perfect as possible? It is like this. Suppose you ask me whether it is satisfactory for a body to be a body, or whether it needs to be something else. I would answer, of course it needs something. In fact, that is why the craft of medicine has been discovered. Because a body is deficient, and it is not satisfactory for it to be like that. To provide what is advantageous, that is, what the craft has been developed for. Do you think I am speaking correctly in saying this, or no? I'm talking to you, sir. Do you think I am speaking correctly in saying this?
I do.
Fantastic. What about medicine itself? Is medicine itself deficient? Does a craft need some further virtue, as the eyes are in need of sight and ears in need of hearing, so that another craft is needed to consider and provide what is advantageous for them? Or does each itself, by itself, consider what is advantageous for it? Does it need neither itself nor another craft to consider what, in light of its own deficiency, is advantageous for it? Indeed, there is no deficiency or error in any craft. And is it inappropriate for any craft to consider what is advantageous for anything besides that with which it deals? And since it is itself correct, it is without fault or impurity, so long as it is wholly and precisely correct. Consider this with that precision of language you mentioned. Is it not so? Thrasymachus responds, it would appear to be so. Doesn't it follow that the medicine does not consider what is advantageous for medicine, but for the boy? Thrasymachus responds, it would appear to be so. And horse breeding does not consider what is advantageous for horse breeding, but for horses. Indeed, no other craft considers what is advantageous for itself, since it has no further need, but what is advantageous for that which it deals. Thrasymachus says, it would appear to be so. Socrates, that's me, I say, now surely, Thrasymachus, the various crafts rule over and are stronger than that with which they deal. So no kind of knowledge considers or enjoins what is advantageous for itself, but what is advantageous for the weaker, which is subjected to it. So then, Thrasymachus, no one in any position to rule, to the extent that he is a ruler, considers or enjoins what is advantageous for himself, but what is advantageous for his subject, that on which he practices his craft. It is to his subject, and what is advantageous and proper for it, that towards which he looks, and everything he says and he does for it. Thrasymachus responds, tell me, Socrates, do you have a wet nurse? I respond, what is that? Shouldn't you be giving answers rather than asking such things? What exactly do you think it is that I do not know? You are marvelous, Thrasymachus, after hurling such a speech at us. You surely cannot be thinking of leaving right after you have adequately instructed us, or learned yourself whether you are right or not. Do you think it is a trivial matter which you are trying to determine, and rather not a way of life, the one that would make living life the way most profitable for each of us? No, by Zeus, don't try and persuade me, but first stick to what you have said. Or, if you change your position, do it openly, and do not try to deceive. You see, Thrasymachus, having defined the true doctor, to continue to maintain the same level of exactness when you later turn to the true shepherd, you do not think of a shepherd. To the extent that he is a shepherd, fattens sheep with the aim of doing what is best for them. But you think that, like a guest about to be entertained at a feast, his aim is to eat well or make a furniture sale, as if he were a money-maker rather than a shepherd. But of course, the only concern of the craft is the shepherding, is to provide with best for that with which it deals, since it is itself adequately provided with all it needs to be at its best. Do you think that those who rule cities, the ones who are true rulers, rule willingly? And doesn't each craft provide us with a particular benefit, different from the others? For example, medicine provides us with health, captaincy with safety at sea, and so on with the others. Thrasymachus responds, it would appear to be so. Would you call medicine wage earning, even if someone earns pay while healing? Would you call wage earning medicine, even if someone becomes healthy while earning wages? We say that the additional craft in question, which benefits craftsmen by earning them wages, is that the craft of wage earning? It is clear now, then, Thrasymachus, that no type of craft or rule provides what is beneficial for itself. But, as we have been saying for some time, it provides and enjoins what is beneficial for its target, and aims at what is advantageous for it, the weaker, not the stronger. That is why I said just now, my dear Thrasymachus, that no one chooses to rule voluntarily and take other people's troubles in hand and straighten them out, but each asks for wages. You see, anyone who is best to practice his type of craft never does or enjoins what is best for himself, at least not when he is acting as his craft prescribes, but what is best for his subject. Glaucon responds, what do you mean, Socrates? You do not understand the sort of wages for which the best people rule, Glaucon. When they are willing to rule, they love honor and love money and are despised, and rightly so. Do you agree? Glaucon responds, it would seem to be so. Well then, that is why good people won't be willing to rule for the sake of money or honor. If they are paid wages openly for ruling, they will be called hirelings. And if they take them covertly, with the fruits of their rule, they will be called thieves. On the other hand, they won't rule for the sake of honor either, since they are not ambitious honor. That's all for today. Adieu, my students.